What's good, y'all? Back again. Another day. And it's been a little minute, but I got some new bro talk for y'all, man. So before we get into that, make sure you go ahead on and like, comment, subscribe, share so we can get it across the air. Make sure that you hit that little bell so you can tell when we're going live, or when we're dropping more content, or when we're doing another video. You don't want to miss it. But anyways, man, what I want to talk about today is self-accountability and self-evaluation. And I'm using my phone because I took some notes. I want to make sure that I'm giving y'all clear and concise information. These are notes that I took myself. So we have a track record of where we're going, but how we get there and how we land the plane is going to be special. So, the first thing I put on my list is make sure that you are able to receive and understand constructive criticism. Now, what I find is a lot of people, they build themselves up into a certain perspective and then they get stuck in that narrative. And they're afraid to challenge their beliefs, they're afraid to grow, they're afraid to do anything outside of what they know because that's what they know. And essentially when you do that, you become stuck. There is no room for you to grow, you can't develop, you can't, be real with yourself because you don't even understand that you're not even in control of yourself. You're in control. You're being controlled by systems that you put in place that may be outdated, and you notice it a lot in fashion, man. In fashion, I'm only bringing up fashion because it's something that almost everybody has a frame of reference to. So you have certain people that wear baggy jeans from the 90s and it's making a comeback now. I'm starting to wear bigger jeans again just because they're comfortable, and I'm embracing my dadhood, but you have people that never really crossed over and they never really wore jeans that fit or jeans that that fit the times. And then also on the flip side of that, you have people that took the skinny jeans trend and they never got out of it. You have people that are still wearing skinny jeans even if it don't fit their body shape or if it don't fit it throws off the whole outfit because it doesn't match with their body type. And instead of being real with themselves and saying, I don't look good or I don't look flattering, they look at themselves and they think that they rocking like cutout stockings. So you definitely want to make sure that you're real with yourself and you look at what's going on and you understand where you are and you keep up with the times. My favorite author, Robert Greene, he says, think as you like but behave as others. He also says make sure that you understand the times that you're in and you adapt as needed. We as humans, we try to take the world and we try to make it a clean, sanitized, polished place when the reality is we don't, the world is chaos, man. We try to sanitize it as much as possible so that our minds can comprehend and deal with the realities of the world. But there are crazy people in the world that are just prone to acts of violence. There are beasts in the world that cannot be tamed. There's storms we can't control. We can't control the weather to the degree that others are able to control the weather. So, as much as we try to bring order to the chaos, there will always be chaos. So the best thing you can do is understand the pieces of the chaos that you can control internally. I'm still talking about yourself. You have to figure out the pieces that you can control and that you can change in order to better yourself. A very good way of doing that is journaling. Last year I made it my goal to journal every day for a year, and I was very good at it. I journaled every day, and then I looked back to see from January to June where my mental process was and what I was thinking and how I grew. I wrote down situations that I went through that day and how it affected me. Was I overthinking? Did I react properly? Could I have handled that differently? Just understanding how my mind works and looking at it not in the moment but looking at it from a step back, maybe once I've cooled off, or just to understand, am I dealing with this thing rationally, or am I off to the left and I'm very irrational? Is there something that I can handle differently? And again, we're humans, we're going to have emotions, we're going to react certain ways. The thing is not to try to tamper your emotions or beat them down, but to understand them. That way you can make sure that you're making the best decision as possible in that circumstance. And then just to piggyback on criticism, taking and receiving criticism, find a mentor. Find somebody that's where you want to go or where you want to be, and talk to them and listen to them. Ask them to tell you, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, where you can improve. That's one of the fastest ways to level up, man. I can say that I've been able to grow leaps and bounds because I've been able to surround myself with people that I actually want to listen to and learn from, because I can see the work. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of mentorships out here, and I may just do one about mentorship in itself because that's just so much. But there's a lot of people out here that are mentoring, but they've never done these things, and that's why you have so much skepticism in terms of classes and mentorship. But self-development and growth is essential, and the best way to grow is to find somebody that's willing to pour into you and invest in you and spend time with you and genuinely wants to see what's best for you, man. Shout out to my brother Jay, and shout out to I'd just be here all day just naming the people that I listen to that have been able to influence me and give me feedback and steer me on the right path when I'm doing right, or pull my collar when I'm doing wrong and get me back. So I just wanted to kind of elaborate on that as well. And then you always want to make sure that you're constantly learning, which is what I just said. Find you a class, or always find ways that you can grow your knowledge. Reading is great, but a lot of us, and I've been a victim to it for a long time, I would just read, and not actually implement what I've learned or figure out how I can use those practices to benefit myself. So if you're reading, and people enjoy reading, I loved reading because reading didn't require any accountability. All I had to do was zip through, finish the book, and move on. But the accountability comes in actually taking the actions based off what you learn. I've been reading a lot of books on YouTube trying to better understand it, and I've been applying those things. I've been reading a lot of books in my field, construction, learning more about building and getting certifications and learning. On a personal level, I've been, reflecting, journaling, working on myself, and learning about things that I feel like I can improve on, or how I could be a better husband, or how I could be a better father or friend, or whatever the case may be. And another one that's very important is being patient. You have to be patient. A lot of times we want things quick and we want it to happen overnight, or we look and we compare ourselves to somebody else and we think because they're there, we should be there, but we don't understand their story, their struggle, their background, or what any of that had to do and how that affects them. So, we have to learn how to give ourselves grace. And by giving yourself grace, that doesn't mean you get comfortable or you get accepting of where you are. You want for more, but at the same time, you understand that there's a process and there's steps that have to occur in order for you to get there. And you fall in love with that, and then it begins to happen. And then finally, you want to learn how to accept the truth for what it is. A lot of times we like to run from the truth. We like to hide from it. We like to, do things that, whatever we can to escape from the truth and the reality. But, let me tell you, as black men out here, we don't have that luxury. We have to deal with the truth. We have to see things for what they are without the polish or without whatever we're telling ourselves. We have to squarely look at a situation and understand the situation that we're in order to determine how we can get out of the situation. A prime example is if you think about chattel slavery, or slavery that occurred here in America. Slaves were some of the most inventive people in the world. Like, if you look at a list of inventions that slaves made, your head would explode, because they were able to create so many different things. And then one asks, well, how were slaves able to create so much? Because they fully understood the situation that they were in, and it allowed them to think of things to help alleviate their situation as best as possible. And, when you think about it, that's just the ingenuity of black people as a whole. If you think about people in the hood, they take what they have and they make the best out of it. And they learn how to deal and use the resources that they have in order to get by. And you don't have to stop doing that when your lifestyle changes or you get a little bit of money, or, whatever the case may be. But in order for you to do that, you have to understand where you are. You have to look at yourself and say, hey, right now, I don't know how to dribble a ball, so there's no way that I'm going to get to the NBA. But if every day I practice dribbling drills, and dribbling drills, and dribbling drills, and I work on one hand at a time, I just get comfortable dribbling the ball with my right hand. I get comfortable dribbling the ball with my left hand. I get comfortable switching the ball between my right and my left hand. You know what I'm saying? And you just gradually work and develop, but you understand that you started from no experience whatsoever. And you're patient because you understand that it's going to take time. And you journal and you measure to see, where you're growing. That way you're not just wondering and looking up in the sky. You have a frame of reference. On day 0, I knew that I couldn't dribble at all. On day 5, I can dribble with my right hand and my left hand, and I can move the ball in between. You talk to somebody that's going to help you learn. You go to a coach, you go to training camps, and then you listen to the feedback and criticism and you grow. You may not be an NBA player because those spots are extremely limited, but maybe you'll be a superstar in China, or maybe you'll be a superstar in one of these leagues here. And that's an analogy, but I hope the message is conveying. You have to look at where you are and determine where you want to go. And you have to be real with yourself, and you have to be accountable with yourself, and you have to deal in the truth. And by doing those things, it'll help you grow gradually, and that's what we're all about here, growth and just becoming better and making sure that we're doing the best that we can. So if you like this video, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share it so that we can get it across the air. Make sure you hit that little bell so you can tell when we drop more. And if you like this one, check out the last one, and I'll holler at you on the next one.